Ooh.
What's that smell?
Not me.
No, what is that? Oh, you know what that smell is?
I think it's something about the weekend, right?
It's Friday.
Yeah,
it
it's
smells
Friday.
just like Friday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday the 13th. It is July 13th, 2018. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley is on the air. Dan Coots, your host. Steve has his own lower third. Mr. Hare, our news director with the news. Cat in control.
I was looking for my lower third there.
Oh, your lower third.
Yeah.
Dave Erickson is patiently waiting in our waiting room. He's going to be my guest the second half of the show. Dave Erickson, of course, is the director of the Wenatchee Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Division, and we're talking all things parks with our good friend Dave Erickson today.
We have a wealth of parks and some good news, too, on the development of a long-standing park down in the South Wenatchee.
Yeah, there's lots of good news. Lots of good
news.
stuff coming up with Dave. We're looking forward to that. If you are afraid of Friday the 13th, I have it on my phone, hold tight. You suffer from triskaidekaphobia. Triskaidekaphobia is fear of Friday the 13th. Watutokaphobia is fear of this program.
I think it's the fear of number 13, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. It's the fear of the number 13.
Yeah.
Yes, it is exactly right.
They don't go to the 13th floor.
Right.
I don't think there is a 13th floor. If you take an elevator, it usually goes
normally
from,
they don't even have it.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
put it on a deal. This building only has 12 stories, so we don't have to worry about that at all. It's going to be hot. Another warm one today. For the record, yesterday's high 93, which was not the hottest day of the year. Hottest day of the year was the day after Independence Day on July 5th. We actually got up to 94.
Okay.
But we have a chance to get triple digits today. Little cool down over the weekend, also a little breezy. It's a really weak cold front, but it is going to kick up the winds a little bit. So a little concerned about wildfires for the weekend. We'll do the forecast, then we're going to heat back up again. If we don't get to 100 today, we have a really good chance of getting to 100 on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Next week's going to be sweltering.
Yeah, going to be hot. Well, it's the middle of July, and that's what it is. There's no question about that. Sports, boy, the Mariners and the Apple Sox. Ugly night for those two teams, but we report on the sports anyway, good, bad, or otherwise. We'll have the sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everybody is entitled to Mike Bignotti's opinion. It is already 72 degrees outside, so we are going to rapidly climb that ladder. Heads up on that. You're ready to go around the valley.
Boy, the heat index is the dominating news this morning.
Yeah. Steve's got a lot of news. We hope we cram it all in for you. Let's see what Cat has for us in store for our Sky-Fi cameras. These are super high definition cameras. We can move them around. They are located in high atop different buttes and points and lookouts all over the Wenatchee Valley and north central Washington, because that's how the system works. The higher up the camera, the higher up the tower, the higher up the dish, the better off everybody is.
Pretty calm this morning, isn't it?
Yeah, people will be flocking to the water this weekend, any kind of water at all. But of course, the Columbia is always cold and always running kind of fast. So, my guess is Lake Chelan might be a little busy.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Lake Wenatchee as well.
Yeah. Any place where there's a solid body of water, you're going to have people there. Why not? Camera 2. Let's say good morning to Turtle Rock.
Looking down from Hose Landing?
No, that's the Arundel Rock, looking at Turtle Rock, looking down to the Wenatchee Valley. Very peaceful and calm. That's one of those areas of the Columbia River where it looks more like a lake than a river.
You're going to see a lot of water skiing out there.
Oh, yeah.
Today and over the weekend.
Good shot, Cat. That is Turtle Rock, of course, looking dominating your screen there. Camera 3. Cat says, let's say hello. Well, that is, no, don't tell me. I want to say, is that Stamen Flats, Cat? Yeah, it is Stamen Flats. Normally, Steve, we can see US 97A in this shot. It would be at the very bottom of your screen. It's kind of out of frame right now. But you can see a good swath of Douglas County all the way down to the Wenatchee Valley. You can see Mission Ridge almost, actually, from there. Stamen Flats is pretty much decision-making time. If you're heading up to Chelan, do you take Navarre Coulee and pop yourself out at the state park? Or do you continue on US 97A, go through the Knapsail Tunnel and dump yourself right up in Chelan proper? Good shot from Stamen Flats. Good stuff, Cat. Camera 4, our final visit. Oh, well, that's Hose Landing.
There it is.
That's Hose Landing. That, of course,
right across the river at Entiat and the Entiat River.
Yep, the gateway to recreation. Beautiful Entiat, and I think we're going to move this camera. There we go. There's Entiat proper. Good shot. Isn't that cool? There's actually housing developments way up at the top of that ridge with some spectacular views. You can almost see Waterville. Look at that. Great pan.
Look at this.
Good stuff, Cat.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
As it winds its way up the
Woo!
canyon there.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
boy.
Can I ride it again, Dad? Can I ride it again? There's
Somebody heading upriver?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Probably a fisherman, I'm guessing.
I would imagine so. They're out early.
Yeah.
They're out early.
Get them early while we can. Great shot from Hose Landing.
By the way, there was a little law enforcement activity as you go further up towards Chelan Falls.
Is there?
Oh yeah. A couple of arrests there
Oh.
overnight. Some illegal hunting that we'll give you more information on there this afternoon.
In this business, we call that a tease, because Steve is a big tease.
I beg your pardon.
Your forecast from the National Weather Service. There you go, 98. Our forecast high today, as I mentioned before, a brief little cool down expected on Saturday, because later on tonight, a weak cold front is going to slide through and slide right back out again. This high pressure dome is big and strong, but it's also not quite centered over this area. It's kind of out over the Pacific, which is going to give it just a little swoop in and swoop out, and that means it's going to be a little breezy tonight, Steve. About 10 to 18 miles an hour. No real wind today until we get late in the afternoon. Then we'll have a northwest wind about 8 to 10 miles an hour. Then tonight, it's going to be a northwest wind 10 to 18 miles an hour. So the good news is it is going to be breezy, but it will be in the overnight hours and out in the middle of the afternoon. So I think we can live with that. So we cool down to just 92 on Saturday, and then we warm right back up again. 97 on Sunday, 100 our forecast high on Monday, and just a little trip down memory lane. The last time we hit 100 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley, July 29th of 2 years ago, 2016. Remember, all of last year, we never once got to triple digits.
That's true. The year before, we had a string of 100.
Oh, we had, I think there were 11 days in July when we were at least 100 degrees in 2015. That was a brutally hot summer. And then July 29th, 2016, we hit 101, and that's the last time we hit triple digits. But we could get there today. I wouldn't be surprised if we got there today.
So make sure you got the sunscreen, and if you work outdoors, make sure you stay hydrated.
And do it now, you know, because you're going to want to knock off work about, like Steve does, you'll want to knock off work about 9:30 or 10 this morning. 7 minutes after the hour on this Friday the 13th, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Steve will handle your Friday morning headlines. The news is brought to you by a new sponsor. We're great to have them on board. We're grateful to Cascade Medical Center. Trevor, the physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical Center, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
Join me for Life with Lisa Bradshaw on NCW Life. It's not about my life, it's about yours.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Steve Hare. Here's some of the stories we're following this Friday the 13th. A Wenatchee woman faces manslaughter charges in a 2017 death of her 2-year-old son. Douglas County Sheriff Kevin Morris says 34-year-old Elaine Hurd was arrested Wednesday following an extensive investigation into Hurd's son's death. The sheriff shared that the investigation revealed Hurd failed to obtain necessary medical treatment for her son for a broken arm and blunt force trauma to his head, which resulted in the boy's death. Now, the boy was treated for a head injury after having a seizure at Hurd's former boyfriend's house in East Wenatchee back in June of last year. He died at Harborview Hospital. Hurd was booked into the Chelan County Regional Jail without incidents. Also, a research student was rescued yesterday after she was forced up a tree by several wolves that surrounded her near Tiffany Spring Campground in Okanogan County. Sheriff Frank Rogers issued a news release late yesterday reporting his office was notified at around 12:30 in the afternoon that a research student was near the campground at 20 Mile Meadows. She was apparently surveying the area when she came across a group of wolves. She said, or the sheriff says she reported that she was 30 feet up a tree with a pack of wolves surrounding it below. Deputies and search and rescue crews responded with orders to shoot the wolves if they were still threatening the female student. A DNR helicopter also was dispatched, and the pilot reported observing wolves on the ground. The helicopter landed. The student was rescued, apparently unharmed. Sheriff Rogers said that matter is still under investigation. He says it's not sure at this point whether the wolves in that area, whether it was a kill site or whether it was a den, but he said it's a very popular campground area in Okanagan County, and that they're trying to find out what happened there, so that that area can remain secure and safe for visitors. At last night's Wenatchee City Council meeting, a public hearing was held for the public to comment on proposed voting districts in the city to replace the current at-large election of city council members. NCW Live's Grant Olson was there, and he filed this report.
The Wenatchee City Council has been wrestling with the issue on whether all Wenatchee citizens are equally represented here in the Wenatchee City Council. Tonight, for the first time, they'll get to hear from the public.
As a voter who lives on the border of South Wenatchee's district map, I am not in favor of the district voting. I am not hearing a clear reason for these proposals other than using ethnicity at its core.
I'd be happy if you guys just, kind of bailed on it for the time being, because we have a good situation right now. I've never seen a problem yet, so anyone can run for a position that's a citizen here, and I don't think chopping us up into sections is going to help the matter. I think it's going to hurt us.
When I first moved to Wenatchee 25 years ago, one of my first questions was, why don't we have representative districts? I've lived in Wisconsin and Montana and Washington, and I was actually floored that I didn't get to have somebody representing my neighborhood.
Que se implementaran 7 distritos.
My suggestion is to implement 7 districts.
Porque de esta forma tendremos a un vecino nuestro que nos represente ahí en esas sillas.
In that way, we're going to have a neighbor that we know to represent us in the council.
Un vecino que esté mirando los retos que estamos teniendo día a día en el vecindario.
A neighbor that is able to come bring to you all the challenges that we have day to day.
Following over an hour of public comment on this issue, it's clear Wenatchee very split on this issue. Should Wenatchee go to district voting or stay at-large voting? Some say it's not including enough of our minority population with our at-large voting system. Others say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. One thing is for sure, the Wenatchee City Council will decide on this matter coming up at their next regular meeting on Thursday, August 9th. From Wenatchee City Hall, Grant Olson, NCW Life News.
More on that story. The Washington Voter Rights Act of 2018 states that all voters be represented. The council will decide on 7 voting districts in the city, 5 voting districts with 2 at-large candidates, or keep the current system of 7 at-large city council members. Apparently that's still an option that's on the table. The Lighthouse Christian Ministry is hoping to move into its new headquarters by Thanksgiving, but they're still about $100,000 short of their goal. Dan Kuntz has more from yesterday's interview on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
After over a decade at their current location on South Wenatchee Avenue, the Lighthouse Ministry has secured a 10-year option to purchase the building and property located at 410 South Columbia, just a block away from their current location. Earlier this week on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Sean Arrington told me the new facility was born out of necessity.
When you go in, you're at a meal at the Lighthouse and all the seats are taken. There's people sitting on the stage, people standing against the wall holding plates. There's been times where people are lined up to the door and then doubled back. There's obviously an occupancy load there, and when we're feeding more than that in a mealtime, people are having to cycle in and cycle out. So the need was obvious, and it's been that way for a number of years. Ideally, it would be great if there were less people in need, but that's just not the way it is in this season. So a number of years ago, we were looking at just different buildings, Bob Rogers and I, and he saw this building and couldn't get it out of his mind, couldn't get it out of his heart, and so the process began there. It's been a long process of permitting and planning and getting everything drawn up in the way that's most logical, and it's going to be really nice to have something that's designed to meet the need that we're bringing to the table. And and not doing it in a location that's not ideal for that.
The Lighthouse hopes to raise $100,000 from the community by the end of August. That $100,000 would then be matched by 16 donors who have pledged an additional $100,000, bringing the grand total raised so far to $1.4 million. The public can learn more and tour the new campus this Sunday between 10 and 2. Dan Kuntz, NCW Life News.
Now we head to the friendly skies of Wenatchee. If you're in the Chelan area this weekend, folks, keep your eyes to the skies as the U.S. and Canadian Open paragliding competition runs until Saturday up on Chelan Butte. 131 pilots from around the world launch into the Chelan air to complete flying tasks over the duration of the competition. In fact, Tuesday's events were called off due to high winds, and paragliders were expected to take to the sky later in the week with warmer temperatures and calmer conditions. The competition is a pre-World Cup event as paragliders compete in categories such as distance and time. Participants will land in the Chelan Falls soccer field throughout that competition, but always a lot of fun to watch the paragliding activities up there off the Butte. One final item here, time now for our NCW Live weekend calendar of events. And with that, here's Megan McPherson.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Stage Kids Washington presents Disney's Mulan Jr. Friday, July 13th and Saturday, July 14th. Based on Disney's Oscar-nominated film, Disney's Mulan Jr. is a heartwarming celebration of culture, honor, and the fighting spirit. With hit songs and a story packed with action, humor, and heart, Disney's Mulan Jr. brings ancient China to life with a modern sensibility. Get your tickets at numericapack.org. The Lake Chelan Boating Club Poker Run 2018 is Friday through Sunday at the Lake Chelan Boating Club. On Friday at 6 p.m. in the center of Manson, Poker Run boat owners gather for registration and many bring their boats to display for other participants and the public. Saturday is the Poker Run 2018 and this year's theme is the jungle. There is a dinner that evening and prizes awarded. Those not in the Poker Run teams can buy tickets for meals at the clubhouse. Sunday is a day to relax and unwind at the clubhouse. July and Christmas is this Saturday at Kris Kringle in Leavenworth from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This year, the elves will be perfecting their ice shaving skills to deliver some tasty tropical flavored snow cones. Sven will be serenading you with his best Beach Boys impression. Santa will be in his Hawaiian tee taking pictures with kids of all ages. Also, there will be a face painting station. Favorite local artist Candace Dillhoff will have several designs for you to choose from. Raffle drawings will begin at 7 p.m. Everyone will receive one ticket upon arrival. Any purchase over $100 will get you an extra ticket. In addition, one very special ornament handmade by the Kringle staff will be given to a lucky guest. Pineapple Mayhem is this Saturday night from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Calvary Crossroads Church. This free event is the place to be if you're in middle or high school. It's a one-night party full of games, crazy inflatables, and your friends. Activities range from dodgeball to karaoke to crazy inflatables to special performances and snacks. Doors open at 6:45 p.m. Parking and entrance signs will be posted as you enter. There's no cost for this event. It is absolutely free, so invite everyone. Security will be on site. And finally, the Lighthouse Open House is this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 410 South Columbia Street in Wenatchee. This will be the future Ministry Center, which will be home for the Ministry Soup Kitchen, clinic, food distribution center, offices, and worship facility. Lighthouse Christian Ministries hopes to raise $100,000 needed to complete renovation of the center, serving the homeless and those at risk of homelessness. If Lighthouse can raise the money from the community by August, a group of 16 donors has pledged to match it for a total of $200,000. Lighthouse has raised $1.2 million for the $1.4 million project. As long as funds are secured this summer, there are no delays anticipated, and the Ministry Center should be open by the end of November. For more information on this weekend's events, visit ncwlife.com.
A veritable plethora of activities this weekend.
No, I just ate. Thank you anyway. What are you doing this weekend? Do you have big plans?
I'm going camping.
That's right, you are going camping.
Yeah, yeah. And heading up to Lake Wenatchee, as a matter of fact, for the first time.
Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Does your camper have air conditioning?
It does, as a matter of fact.
Good, because it's going to be warm even at places.
And screened windows, too.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's the mosquito time of the year.
Good. Yeah,
But
I got big plans.
Hopefully it will be about 10 degrees cooler up there
Yeah.
than it is down here in the valley.
Yeah, it'll be a good place to be.
I think so.
Yeah, it'll be a good place to be. Well, good for you. We'll try and hold down the fort while you're gone.
Well, I hope so.
No guarantees. So
I leave it in good hands.
So don't forget World Cup final on Sunday. I know you don't want to miss that. Croatia and France will do battle in the beautiful game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever happens, happens. I
I'll
suppose.
tape it for you if you want.
No,
And
that's
you can-
okay.
You sure?
That's okay. I watched 30 minutes of it the other day, the England-Croat game.
Yeah.
And watched it for about 30 minutes and no scoring, and I just got bored, turned it off. I just can't get behind soccer. It just goes against my brain.
I'm like it. I think I'm the only soccer fan in our little department.
If you're going to be running around a field, let's see more scoring. I mean, these guys aren't very good, you know.
They're supposed to be the best players in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they don't score very often.
Well, that's the nature of the game. That's part of the game.
No, it's not. Sorry.
Okay.
I like football. I like golf. I mean, it's a slow game, no clock there. I like baseball. But I'm thinking that what they need to do with soccer is just start out with penalty kicks.
Just like that?
Yeah, just
the whole thing will last
just
5 minutes.
Get rid of the play up to it and just start out with penalty kicks.
My goal is to get you to be a soccer fan
No.
for the not too distant future. What I'll do is I'll make you a highlight tape of the World Cup final of
Okay.
just the goals. It'll last, 30 seconds?
There you go.
So
then you got me.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever you do this weekend, if you're going to be outside, do it in the morning and hydrate because it's going to be a hot weekend. Not quite as hot as it's going to be today. We're going to be a little cooler on Saturday before we start warming up again on Sunday. It's already 72 degrees outside of our studios on our way to a high today of 98, which would be the warmest day of the year so far. Before you get your weekend going, you want to fill your brain full of the necessary information to keep you in the loop. And we have a crack staff who puts together a newscast. It's the whole team, the whole family gets together and hammers out a newscast for you. And you can watch it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10 on television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. It's also available on demand on our website at ncwlife.com, and we also get it up and running on our Facebook page. And we also try to make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us. And doing the honors, S. Mitchell Hare.
That's right. We're always looking for news stories, folks. If you have an idea, in fact, we got a tip this morning on our website. Somebody clicked the little tab at the top of the page there with a news tip, and we're following up on that. We'll have more details on it coming up in the afternoon news, but make use of it. We'd like to hear from you. You can contact us at our email address, news@ncwlife.com. You can write to us on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Also contact us on, let's say, our hotline.
There you go.
Our hotline, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL.
23 minutes after the hour on this Friday the 13th. Going to take a break. When we come back, sports, not a good night for the Mariners nor the Apple Sox, but
lost a pitcher too.
James Paxton, the ace of the staff, back problems, didn't even make it out of the first inning. Sports is coming up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Live this morning from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Did you know that our pets can put on extra weight just like us? Obesity is the most common preventable disease in dogs and cats. Your pet's excess weight can lead to health issues like joint pain, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and more. Dr. Shauna Baez and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinarian Hospital care about your pets, and they can help you keep them lean and healthy. Call Paws and Claws today at 888-PAWS or find them on the corner 4th and Isle in East Wenatchee.
And we're back. Time for sports here on this Friday the 13th, although it seemed like last night was Friday the 13th for both the Apple Sox and the Mariners. They both lost, and they lost badly. For the Apple Sox, they committed 4 errors, allowed 6 unearned runs. and they lost to the Bellingham Bells. The final last night was 10-4. The only good news on this sour night was that Wenatchee's Matt Marenko, Connor McCord, and Evan Williams each had 2-hit nights. Isaac Barrera drove in a couple of runs. Michael Spalacy took the loss on the mound for the Sox. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, none of them earned. 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. Carson Olsen was the winner for the Bells. He went on as a relief appearance in the 5th inning and allowed a run on a hit and 3 walks. So now it's off to Bellingham as the home-and-home series shifts to Joe Martin Field. First pitch in Bellingham tonight, 6:35. The Les Schwab scoreboard, West Coast baseball from last night looks like this. Victor Cerny's RBI double in the bottom of the 9th gave Yakima Valley the victory over Corvallis. The final there was 7-6. Kaiser Weiss had a 2-run double, and that highlighted a 4-run 7th as the Bend Elks won at Kelowna. The final there was 8-6. Michael Newstrom and 3 relievers held Walla Walla to a 3-hit shutout. Portland pounded the Sweets 12-0. Port Angeles used a 7-run 5th inning to beat Highline. That was a non-league game, 9-6. So here's your West Coast League schedule for tonight. You see the standings and now the schedule. Port Angeles gets back into league play. First of 3 at Corvallis. Cowlitz hosts Victoria. Of course, Wenatchee is at Bellingham, as you already know. Bend takes on Yakima Valley. Kelowna travels to Portland, and the non-league game is Walla Walla hosting the River City Athletics. Tonight starts a busy weekend of racing at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Wow, there's a lot going on. The Jerry's Auto Supply Thunder in the Valley is tonight and tomorrow night up at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. The Westco Winged Sprint Cars, the Will Rock ISRL non-winged sprint cars, the Northwest Focus Midgets, the Can-Am Early Stock Old Timers Challenge, the West Coast Vintage, and the WMRA Racing tonight and tomorrow night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Gets underway at 4:30. Also coming up this weekend on the sports calendar, the Wenatchee Senior Softball League wraps up their season with the year-end tournament at Walla Walla Point Park. That's tomorrow and Sunday. The Hot Dams Women's Softball Tournament happens this weekend at Kirby Billingsley Hydro Park. For boating enthusiasts, it's a big one. It's the Lake Chelan Poker Run this weekend, hosted by the Lake Chelan Boating Club. They got the show and shine. You can see all the registered boats. There's 62 of them. If you just like to check out boats, that's pretty cool. That's in downtown Manson tonight. Then tomorrow, the teams go the entire length of Lake Chelan. They pick up their poker tickets at various stops for a chance to win lots of cash and prizes. It's also a note for boaters on Lake Chelan that there's going to be a lot of really fast, those cigarette boats that can fly. They're going to be all over the lake this weekend, so be careful. Be on the heads up for that. Well, Mariners, James Paxton just got in 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 2 home runs in the process. The Mariners fell to the Angels 11-2 last night. Team trainers walked Paxton off the mound. The concern immediately was whether the Big Maple was injured. Manager Scott Service says it's just a back issue.
Pax felt fine coming into the game. When he got down in the bullpen to warm up before the game, he felt tightness in his back. It started to loosen up a little bit in the bullpen. Going out in the first inning, you could tell right from the get-go he was not right tonight, and he wanted to give it a go and try to battle through it, hoping it would loosen up. It was quickly you could see that it was not the typical James Paxton, so thought it best to just get him out of the ball game. Nothing serious. He's been checked out by doctors here. Obviously that was his last outing before the All-Star break, so he'll have some time to kind of calm it down and recoup. Fully expect him to come out of the break and be good to go. So it was just one of those freak things that happened tonight, but no structural damage, just a muscle spasm in the low back, and he should be fine going forward.
History made last night. Albert Pujols hit 2 home runs, and that ties him with Ken Griffey Jr. with 630 career home runs on the all-time list. By the way, LA had 15 hits on the game, 4 of which were home runs. In fact, the game gets out of hand when somebody who isn't a pitcher pitches, and I'm talking about Andrew Romaine. He pitched the 8th inning. He's a utility player. D. Gordon and Denard Span each had a couple of hits. The Mariners have lost 5 of their last 8 games. They'll see if they can right the ship. They got 3 more games before the All-Star game. They will be in Denver tonight to take on the Colorado Rockies. Games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the All-Star break. American League West. How did the team shape up? The Les Schwab scoreboard is where we go. Oakland scored 6 unanswered runs to come from behind. They beat Houston 6-4 at Minute Maid Field. Thank you, Athletics. The A's took 3 of 4 from the Astros. They're 53-41 of the season, so they've crept within 8 of Houston and 5 of Seattle in the American League West. And just about 30 minutes after they are, the obscure holiday of the day today. And you're going to hear about this a lot. There's a lot of promotions going on today because today is National French Fry Day. National French Fry Day. A lot of restaurants, major chains, and even the smaller mom and pop stores are offering big deals on French fries, even some free French fries if you know where to look. Of course, French fries didn't originate from France. They originated in Belgium. Yeah, and they're actually born in Belgium, and the humble French fry born in Belgium really took off in popularity during World War I because American soldiers stationed in Belgium were introduced to French fries, and after the war was over, they brought them back to America. Of course, people all over the world love French fries, especially Americans. We're number one. Americans eat over 30 pounds of French fries per person per year. There's good news. French fries is a good source of potassium, and there are over 100 different varieties of French fries. Happy National French Fry Day. You just can't go wrong with those, can you? And now we have Today in History. Among the items, 2 really bad days in New York City happened on July 13th. On July 13th, 1863, you see it right there on your screen. That's from the New York Times. The New York City draft riots began. Originally, there was riots about the draft, the Civil War draft. A bunch of people didn't want to be conscribed and sent down to Virginia to get killed. It started out as opponents of conscription, and then things got out of hand. Irish immigrants began to attack African Americans, and the conscription riot became a race riot. And it got ugly. For 3 days, New York was simply unsafe. In fact, it is the worst riot in American history. 120 people were killed when the New York City draft riots began on this date 155 years ago today. Today is the 95th birthday of the Hollywood sign. That's the original Hollywood sign. It was dedicated on this date in the Hollywood Hills in California. Of course, as you can see there, originally read Hollywoodland. The last 4 letters were dropped after they renovated the sign in 1949. Each letter is 45 feet tall. That's how it looks now today. The sign is 350 feet long. The sign was only supposed to last for 18 months, so it started to fall apart rather rapidly. One of my favorite Hollywood sign stories, Albert Cothey was the official caretaker of the sign, and during the early 1940s, he was driving up to the sign. He was drunk. He drove off the edge of the road, and he knocked the H over. And it wasn't there for a while. It said Hollywood. By the way, the original sign was torn down and replaced in 1978. Happy 95th birthday to the iconic Hollywood sign. I mentioned New York City had a pretty bad day back in 1863. They had a really bad day back in 1977, too. July 13th, 1977. Huge blackout that lasted just about 24 hours, affected almost all of New York City. 1,616 stores damaged in looting and rioting. 1,037 fires, 14 multiple alarm fires, and then the largest mass arrest in New York City history. 3,776 people were sent to the clink. The New York City blackout of 1977 happened on this date, on July 13th. And finally, happy birthday to Live Aid. That was a huge deal. Live Aid. The Live Aid benefit concert takes place at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia and at Wembley Stadium in London, with also concerts in Moscow and Sydney. It was the big rock and roll event of the 1980s, Live Aid. And finally, birthdays at 33 minutes after the hour. The Roman Republic went away and the Roman Empire went into being because of that guy, Julius Caesar, who was born in this date in 100 BC, met an untimely death at the age of 55 in 44 BC, one of history's major figures, Julius Caesar, who's not around to celebrate his birthday today. Harrison Ford is 76 years old today. First got widespread acclaim, of course, with Star Wars, and then Indiana Jones, Patriot Games, The Fugitive, Air Force One. He caught my eye in American Graffiti. That was his first really big role. He was in American Graffiti, and of course, Blade Runner. Harrison Ford is 76 years old today. Roger McGuinn, the founder of the Byrds, a rock and roll Hall of Famer, 76 years old today, singer, songwriter, guitarist with the Byrds, still going strong at 76. Happy birthday, Roger McGuinn. And Cheech Marin, one half of Cheech and Chong. There he is, Cheech Marin, the actor and comedian, is 72 years old today. Somebody should probably tell him. 34 minutes after the hour. Everybody is entitled to Mike McDottie's opinion, and then Dave Erickson from the Wenatchee Parks Recreation and Cultural Services Department will be dropping by for a really cool conversation you don't want to miss. It's a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been. It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Welcome to another edition of Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table.
Outdoorsmen have been providing fresh food for American family tables for generations. Hunting and fishing is a way of life for our family, and we enjoy cooking delicious fish and game meals.
Oh, that's awesome.
We want to share our recipes with you. This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table.
Watch for new episodes of Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table, starting Saturday, June 30th on the NCW Live channel.
Oh, hey, Nate. What you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Yield Bookshop.
Yield Bookshop? I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Yield Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I sometimes see on Facebook posts about pictures of police officers in full SWAT gear and the like, stating that these officers are heroes, men and women of courage, and they are. Hey, no doubt, believe me. But a lot of that, if I may say so, is just sometimes macho posing. Not in any way to show disrespect to those involved in the aggressive and potentially violent side of police work. But there's another side of police heroism. Those cops who deal with wounded victims, very often children. Wounds that are not physical, but instead emotional and psychological. It's these interactions with the most vulnerable members of our society which caused cop-turned-author Joseph Wumbaugh to say that it's the emotional and psychological stressors of these kind of contacts that make police work the world's most dangerous profession. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Vominos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vominos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vominos does it all. Vominos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vominos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vominos Junk Haulers and Moving Service today to schedule your free estimate.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bobfile Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle: fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bobfile Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bobfile Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bobfile's gonna make you smile.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
And we are back on this Friday the 13th edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Coos. My guest today has been on this program before, and believe it or not, he agreed to come on again. David Erickson runs the Wenatchee Parks Recreation and Cultural Services Department. It's good to see you, Dave.
Glad to be here, Dan.
Yeah.
And they say I'm a slow learner, so we'll see.
If you come on for a third time, then we know you're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the sweet spot in time for you guys, isn't it? Middle of the summer, school's out, parks are hopping.
Absolutely. You know, there's stuff going on everywhere right now, especially with programs and park construction and you name it. There's something happening everywhere.
Talk about just the overall, why are parks important to a community as a whole? Why are parks important? Why do we put aside big, unbuilt upon areas just for people to gather and have fun? Why is it so important to have parks?
You know, there's a whole litany of reasons. Everything from the real direct impacts like economic development, when we have folks that come into town for baseball tournaments, softball tournaments, hiking, biking, you name it, all the way to just the mental health relief that it provides folks. You know, social bonding, just getting out, and health benefits for exercise and just general well-being of the community.
And it helps bond neighborhoods, doesn't it? Because we have lots of cool little parks. You know, we got Medhow Park, and we'll talk about that. We got Pennsylvania Park and Chase Park. Lots of cool Washington Park. Lots of cool parks that really make a neighborhood because the neighborhood kids gather, they get to know each other, and all kinds of cool reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really a great function of those parks, is to bring the community together, whether it's through a program that's happening there or even just regular use. You'll see that all throughout the community.
Let's talk. We're going to go park by park. We're going to start with Rotary Park up there on Northwestern, which was a project of all the local Rotary clubs got together and made this happen. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges, and this is some incredible drone footage we have of Rotary Park. There's some things going on up there. Dave, talk about it.
Yeah, so for the last couple of years, we've been partnering with the Rotary Club to do some improvements out of the park. So looks like as the drone flies to the south, Rotary will be starting next week to expand the parking area off of Maple Street there by 14 parking spots. And then also just off to the left of the camera there, they will be building a second picnic shelter. Yeah, so you'll see the parking area right up near the top of the screen. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be expanding up to the west, so to the upper part of the screen. And then the basketball court is that other kind of rectangular shaped concrete piece on the upper left there. There'll be a new picnic shelter going in. And so you'll see construction happening starting next week and then moving on probably through the end of summer, I would imagine. So
the additional parking, I assume, was a necessity. You needed more parking.
It really is. The picture that you see right there does not represent the typical use out there at Rotary. You know, we could probably pave the bulk of the park. It is so popular, but we'll be adding 14 parking spots, and really couldn't do that. It's really a great Rotary project, something that they've taken on. They're doing the lion's share of the funding and all the work for it. So couldn't be happier with our partnership with them.
And you mentioned the basketball court's going to be giving way to another shelter.
It'll go right next to it.
Right
so
next to
basketball
okay.
court will still be there. It'll
Good.
be actually located on this grass location right here. So this is a photo taken from the basketball court looking toward the picnic shelter.
And two of the unique things about Rotary Park is, number one, it has a Frisbee golf course, which gets a lot of use.
It does, year round.
Yeah, all the time. And the splash pad, which probably gets real busy this time of the year.
It does, yeah. Splash pad's open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. every single day from Memorial Day through Labor Day, and it's computer controlled, so you go up there and you push the button and it starts and shoots water wherever it goes. You know, we do have plans for another splash pad, and we'll probably talk about that in a little bit down at Lincoln Park. So we're going through the process right now to obtain the funding for that. So by far and away the most popular park amenity we have in our park system.
And for good reason, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Kids love it. You mentioned Lincoln. The Lincoln band shell's been down now for, what, a couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
It was essentially condemned, wasn't it? Wasn't it kind of just falling apart?
Yeah, it was, you know, the original wooden structure that was built in 1972 and had just reached the end of its lifespan. So it was removed at the early part of last year. And so we've been fundraising and going through the process to get a new shelter. And so the new shelter is here. And we just started construction of it, assembly like a big erector set that started going up last week. And next week we have a crane coming in, which should be pretty exciting. It'll be lifting those giant metal trusses up into place for the roof. So you'll see that roof structure going up in the next week or two. And then we'll have a little bit of work to do once the actual structure's up to do the concrete floor and everything. But it's coming along. It'll be 30 feet by 50 feet, so it's a little bit larger than the last shelters to really accommodate those large groups that like to use that park.
And Lincoln Park is beautiful because it takes up an entire city block, and it has a little bit of everything. That's what we like about it. It has open fields for soccer. You got trees for shade. A lot of the newer parks, of course, that's the biggest challenge because trees take a little while to establish themselves and get growing, but that's not really the case at Lincoln. There's a lot of shade and picnic areas and baseball fields. It's a well-rounded park. It has a little bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we're hopefully going to be renovating that in the upcoming years. So we're in the grant application process right now. So for the last year, we've been doing the state and federal grants applications, and if we're successful, you'll see an actual full-size developed soccer field, new playground, splash pad, as we talked about, a second picnic shelter that we're partnering with Rotary on, a BMX pump track, improved parking, more shade trees, so that way we can ensure that the trees stay in the park forever, hopefully, and some other new stage, new restrooms, so a whole litany of improvements down there. So if we're successful in these grant rounds, we'll find out next year where we rank, and then see engineering the following year and construction hopefully 2020. So
have you gotten pretty good at writing grants?
We've been fairly successful. Yeah, we've been lucky. In fact, City Council last night accepted 2 grants that we applied for back in 2016 and just got the grant contracts. And so those are for Hale Park Phase 2. And so that totals $914,500. And so in the next couple of years, you'll see the final engineering happening, and then that park will be fully developed hopefully by the end of 2020, and that will include new play equipment, restrooms, picnic shelter, skate park, additional trees and landscaping to take that no man's land that's from the Black Pipeline Bridge up to the end of South Worthing Street will all be improved and finished. So.
And kudos to the family who donated essentially the land that they owned for Hale Park. So we have that off-leash dog park, and that's been successful?
It has been, yeah. You know, on days like today, it's going to be a little hot until those trees mature, so definitely get out there in the morning. Yeah, this is the no man's land that will be developed in that Phase 2. And then the off-leash area portion is south of the pipeline bridge there. So yeah, the Hale family donated the property, and we were able to use the value of the property donation as the match for our grant to pay for the first phase of construction last year. So it's been a great project. We've used very little city money in that, and we're going to get a $2 million park when it's all done.
You're going to see some drone footage of Met Howell Park here. And as we talk, as you see this drone footage of Met Howell Park, talk about some big things happening there.
Well, and again, another partnership project. We've been working with Kiwanis as well as the Trust Republic Lands on Kiwanis Met Howell Park since 2015, and to renovate the park. And so Trust Republic Lands has been going through a public involvement process and engagement process where they've gone out in the community and said, hey, what would you guys like to see in your park? And through that process, developed a new master plan for it. And we've been going through the fundraising process now for the last couple of years, and we're getting really close to development. So this park will be fully under construction. We're hoping to go to bid this fall, early winter, and construction next year. So the park will literally be closed the bulk of next year, unfortunately. But hopefully by the end, you'll have something like this. So looking to the south, left to right on your screen, you'll have the kind of a multi-purpose soccer field. On the north side of that is a half basketball court with skate park features, so you'll be able to skate on it as well as play basketball. Then you move up to the center terrace, which will have an open plaza with some shade trees for farmers markets and other events, as well as a kiosco, so that's performing arts and picnic area in the center. And then working your way further up to the upper terrace, you'll have a community garden space. The wading pool will remain. We'll be putting in shade structures over the play area so that way it stays a little bit cooler in the summertime. And then also adding restrooms. So handicap accessibility throughout with new walkways, new plantings. It should be a really nice addition to the community.
And that part of town is very densely populated, so to have an open area like that with a little bit of everything for all of the folks in the neighborhood is beautiful. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on in that little piece of property. It's 1.26 acres total, but if you can't find something to do in that park, you're going to really have a hard time.
Is it me, or is that a little ambitious what you see there with the soccer field and the performing area and the community garden and it's...
It is, yeah. Like I say, there's a lot going on in that park, and when it was presented to the various grant agencies, that was their comments. Really, their only negative comments were, "Wow, there's a lot going on in the park. Can you really make sure you can fit all that?" And that's really what the community wanted to see in that park, and so that's what we're putting in, and the Trust for Public Lands has raised the lion's share of funding for that. I know they're a little bit short, and they're still doing some active fundraising out there, so. Hopefully we'll reach that goal in the next few months and get that under construction.
As you went around from neighborhood to neighborhood in the Met-Hal Park area, did you ask, hey, this is your park in your neighborhood, what would you like to see in the park? That played a role?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's how the master plan for the park was developed, and that's really what we do for all the park areas. So, jumping back to Lincoln, we went through a process for a couple of years where we were asking the South Wenatchee community, what do you want to see in this park? And so we took those elements from the South Wenatchee Sustainable Design Assessment Team Plan, the South Wenatchee Neighborhood Plan, and the various other outreach efforts, and combined that then into the master plan for that park. So that's how we're going after the funding, and that way the neighborhood also has an invested interest in the park, and it's what they want to see.
And to have a park in your neighborhood that the kids can simply walk down the street and go play with it, and mom and dad can feel pretty safe about it is critical.
Yes, definitely.
That's a big thing. And but it's going to be closed most of next year, then?
Yes, that's the plan at this point. Assuming the bids come in good, you'll see construction hopefully starting as soon as the weather breaks in the spring, and that'll probably continue all the way through summer, similar to what we had last year with Hale and the Saddle Rock Gateway project.
Hale Park is the newest park in the Wenatchee Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services footprint. Is that about it? Are we parked out? I mean, Wenatchee can only go in so many locations, but as Wenatchee crosses the river with the recent annexation to Old Station, are there more parks coming, or are you going to renovate what you already have? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of a mixture of both. We do have another park site that we're just starting the master plan process for, and that's up on the kind of intersection of Okanagan and Yakima Streets. It's a little triangle-shaped piece of property. And then we do have a lot of renovation projects, so just repairing infrastructure and things like that haven't been done over the last number of years. So Memorial Park is kind of slated for some improvements, Lincoln Park again. And then, as far as future moving north, we do have a capital investment plan where it shows underserved areas of the population or of the city that are in need of park spaces. And so north of the river is one of those spaces. There really aren't any neighborhood or community parks out in that area. So that would take a acquisition process, and so we just early stages of that. So these take time, unfortunately.
One of the nice things about planning ahead, maybe the nicest thing about planning ahead, is that we have, as I mentioned before, we have lots of little parks and a couple of big parks. Anybody who lives in the city of Wenatchee or in the west side of the river, they're not too far from a park anywhere, are they?
Right. Yeah, there's very few spots in town that you can't get to by a 10-minute walk, which is one of the national objectives, is to have a park within that space. One of the things that we try to look at from the city standpoint is trying to have a park within an area where you don't have to cross a major arterial to get to. So moms can send their kids to the park on their bikes or scooters or whatever, and they don't have to worry about them crossing a highway to get there.
Sure, absolutely.
So
it's going to be hot today. It's going to be hot this weekend. It's going to be hot all next week, and the kids are going to be flocking to the wading pools. They're going to go just splash around. This is, I believe, at Washington Park. This is a bunch of happy kids having a good time, Dave.
Boy, happy kids, happy moms, happy parents. So yeah, we operate the park wading pool program and have since about the mid-1960s. One of our longest running programs. It's completely free. We fill the wading pools up Monday through Friday from 1 to 5, and the wading pools are located at Met-Hal Park, Pennsylvania Park, and Washington Park. Of course, we also have the splash pad at Rotary, which is, we already mentioned, but open 11 to 8. And the wading pools at the 3 parks are staffed. So we have recreation leaders at each of those that do activities, they do arts and crafts and games with the kids that are there. They chlorinate the pool so it's nice and safe, and test the water and all that good stuff. So extremely popular program. We do recommend folks get hydrated before they come because it is very hot. But I'm sure that will be hopping this upcoming week.
And maybe the best thing, and this is something we can't stress this enough, the parks are safe. The parks are safe. So a lot of parks aren't safe, quite frankly. You know, people I don't want to go to that park. It's a bad park. That's not the case here, is it?
No, you know, we have a great park system maintained by our Public Works Department. They're out there every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, doing various maintenance and cleaning activities. I mentioned our 3 parks with a wading pool program, so those are staffed during the bulk of the summer. So we have city staff on site at 4 of the parks all summer long. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for folks to get out and enjoy.
And one of the best things that happened to the old Columbian Hotel was that it burned to the ground back in 1984. It was an eyesore. Nobody liked it anyway. And instead of building a new downtown office building, hey, we have a big open space. Let's put a park here. And we had that nice little park right in the middle of downtown Wenatchee with the band shell and everything. And you got the concert series there.
Yeah, we're in the heart of the Friday night summer concert series, and that's going this evening, Friday the 13th. We have a country band called Jumper Flats performing this evening. It's free to the public. We recommend you bring a blanket, bring a picnic lunch, come on down and enjoy the free music. It starts at 7 o'clock. Centennial Park is at 130 South Wenatchee Avenue. And enjoy. And we have a whole variety of different music throughout the summer. So concerts will run through August 24th. And our schedule is on our Facebook page and also the city website. You can reach it there.
And it's also a good place to work. And this is a little quiet story. My youngest sister, BJ, spent a couple of summers working for Chuck Largent as a summer parks temporary hire, and she loved it. She just had a really good time. And I've seen the kids that you hire for the summertime programs, you know, who keep an eye on the kids at the wading pool, and they really seem to like their job.
They do. They love it. You know, it's a great place to work. It's a great summer job, and for some of them, it's a year-round job because they work through the winter with Special Olympics or any of our other programs out there. But yeah, terrific first job for a lot of kids. We have a lot of real superstar folks that work for us. You know, and
you have a great staff.
Yeah,
you have a really good
they're
staff.
Terrific. They're great role models for the younger kids. So we'll see some of our younger day camp kids years ago move up through the day camp, then they age out from that program, and then we end up hiring them on a few years later to kind of perpetuate the process. So, you know, we're really fortunate to have both in Wenatchee, East Wenatchee is where the bulk of our kids come from that work for us. Great families, great kids, and really great experience for them.
And we should note that the Chelan County PUD Parks Department, which owns and operates Walla Walla Point Park and most of the parks along the river, have been very good partners to work with, haven't they?
Yes, yeah. We actually operate several of our programs down at their parks. So our Skyhawks sports camps are held down at Walla Walla Point Park. Our tennis lessons are down there on their tennis courts. So they're a great partner. We work with them on a variety of different things. And even if it's just bouncing ideas back and forth, to one another on, hey, what have you seen happening in a park? We can explore things that way.
And you're pretty proud of the parks. I mean, we have some good parks in here. You can tell it kind of comes through on television. You're pretty proud of the work that your people do.
We do. You know, everything from the programs to the parks themselves. We've got a great park system. It's envied by communities statewide. They come over and they especially love the river, and they love Walla Walla Point Park and everything, the Loop Trail, the foothills. You know, it's got a little something for everybody, and it's something that folks, they do just envy.
It's hey, it's summertime, and if your kid is sitting around watching TV, Mom, I'm bored. There's no excuse. They have programs and things for the kids to do all summer long. Go to the website. Go to the City of Wenatchee's website, and the Parks and Rec is right on the home page. Click on it, and you got everything you need to know. Even if you want to rent the shelter like at Washington Park and things like that, all the information that you need.
And swimming lessons and swimming pool too. So we operate the city pool 6 days a week, and swim lessons. The third session of swim lesson registration is coming up next Thursday. So.
And they have a grant program, so if you want to teach your kid how to swim but you can't afford it, you can probably get it done for free if you know what you're doing.
Yes, the Neer family donated, made a substantial donation.
That's
and
cool.
It's paying for a lot of scholarships for swim lessons. So
Yes,
just contact us and we can get you in touch with it.
All we need to do is get that mayor's fountain fixed at Memorial Park.
It's on the list.
Just give my brother a shovel. He'll take a run at it, all right?
Absolutely.
Dave, have a great weekend. It's great to see you.
You too, Dan.
Everybody, you have a great weekend as well. We'll see you Monday. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.